Get ready to shop Lowe's Black Friday Doorbuster deals to save $150 on a 30-inch Blackstone griddle, now $299. Plus, choose a Whirlpool top-load washer or Midea top freezer refrigerator for just $398. These limited-time Doorbuster deals go fast, so get holiday ready today at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid 11/28 through 12/1. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Always so fresh, delicious, and nutritious, Eggland's Best Eggs fuel the body with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dying time is here. That's right. We're talking about Sawsgiving 2025 on Kill by Kill. Well, greetings and salutations, Internet. It's your old pal, Patrick Hamilton, coming to you once again from Sawsville, USA, Canada. This is the Kill by Kill podcast, where we're dedicated to celebrating the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. So we're going to unpack all the goriest of details of 2005's Saw 2 in the hopes that an unjustly convicted criminal's untimely end is just the beginning of the jokes we might make at their expense. And as always, there's only one person I trust to gather as many mannequins as I need to decorate my evil lair, the one, the only, Gina Radcliffe. How are you doing today, Gina?
Hold on a second. Let me take a long, wheezy breath on my oxygen mask before I say something profound about appreciating life.
It's understandable. And I really appreciate how you've done some red eyeliner underneath to really emphasize your decrepit
Emphasize
condition.
how I've been dying for 20 years. Yes.
He gets a lot done for a guy who's actively dying this much.
I wish I had his work ethic and energy, and I do not even have terminal cancer.
Oh, let's knock on wood. Not yet, fingers crossed, Gina.
Not yet.
Oh, God. I'm going to hell. Anyways, I don't mean to scare you, Gina, but we are not alone. That's right. We have a special guest. Now, you may know him as a writer of note for Vulture, amongst many other outlets. His current podcast, Chasing Amy Adams, delves into the ginger-haired career of one Amy Adams, the one, the only Louis Peitzman. How are you doing today, Louis?
I am doing great. Whenever there's Saw on the table, it's something I can talk about. I'm in a good place. I feel safe.
You know, this is the danger of social media. You put it out there that you're going to watch a Saw movie or two. I'm lurking in the corners. I'm that The Onion picture guy who's just, he's watching Saw. I can get him for November.
Yeah, great. I mean, I put it in the universe. You know, it's my form of manifesting. I just say I'm watching a Saw movie and hope that someone asks me to talk about it on a podcast.
Excellent. So now, Gina and I's history with Saw was that it happened at a point in time that we had bounced out of horror for, like, she had a kid. I had just kind of started my industry life, and I was trying to appear like a more well-rounded individual rather than the goofy horror nerd that I am. And so I missed about 8 years of remakes and the sort of millennial nasties. What was your relationship to Saw? Was this something you saw in theaters? Did you go every Halloween? Did you catch up on a home video? Where do you come at this?
Yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer with Saw. I got into horror, I guess, in the aughts, but it was kind of a slow process of doing some catch up since I had missed, I for my first couple of decades hadn't really watched any horror. So I don't know when I first watched the Saw movies, but I'm guessing it was a Netflix by mail situation.
Sure.
When I was catching up on those. I think the first The first Saw that I saw in theaters was the last one, was Saw 10.
Oh, okay.
So I really miss out on some important cinematic experiences. But I have since seen them all several times.
Okay. So it wasn't like a ritual for you, because when some of the people that we've had in the past come on the show to talk about it, it was this either thing they actively ignored because they were my age, or something that they were actively engaged in. Like it became this ritual thing where, hey, I'm going with all of my friends, either in high school, college, or 20s, whatever. And it was like, hey, we're all going to do this thing. So they have really great emotional ties to it. Whereas I can very much relate to how you're coming at this. A, wasn't allowed to watch horror movies growing up. Secondly, my obsession was Friday the 13th, a franchise I was not allowed to watch. So when I did, I fucking obsessed over it. And I will say, for the record, as much as I love Friday the 13th, and we started off as a Friday the 13th podcast, they're just as dumb. They are just as stupefyingly, insanely stupid.
Well, I think yes, but I think Saw is stupid in a special way.
Sure.
I think that it is so convoluted as a series. It's a rich text of dumb shit. And it's like watching the goriest procedural on television, because it's mostly a lot of flashbacks to things that just happened. Mm-hmm. And retcons of things that we, found out a moment ago, in the service of these like set pieces of people getting tortured to death. Yeah. So it's really a unique series, I would say. It is a comfort watch for me. I find them very comforting, very cozy, despite being abrasive by nature, despite feeling like the most obnoxious music video from the early 2000s you can imagine.
God. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
The frenetic editing, even though I've seen them all so many times, it never fails to shock me when I put this one on. And it's like, it's just an assault.
It really is.
Oh, that opening scene is just like, am I having a seizure? What's happening here?
It's really, it's a sort of an endurance test. But yeah, I don't know. I love Saw. And I'm always looking for an excuse to like do another series rewatch.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't have to, force you to watch this against your will. This is something that you came to willingly. I enjoy a mix, because I agree with you. There is something really unique to how much lore they just want to fill all the cracks in. But also the series as a whole is constantly making new cracks in order to putty over it with new retrocon things. But as a Friday the 13th person, like, that's what I like about those movies too, that they just painted themselves into blood red corners with no idea how to get it out. And then like 6 months later, like, Paramount says they need another one, and they just figure it out. And I feel like Lionsgate gets in the same seat here.
Yes, I think that the real key difference is that Friday the 13th was smart enough to not have Jason die of cancer in the third movie, and then have to figure out how to get him into every subsequent sequel.
They had to explain how Jason will learn how to use like a video camera and a series of carefully coded micro cassettes explaining his motives.
Yeah, so I mean, the solve for Saw has mostly been flashbacks, and then deciding that every character you've seen is actually an accomplice of Jigsaw. Right. So by the end of the series, like, no one hasn't worked for Jigsaw. We are all working for Jigsaw in some way.
In some way, shape, or form, we're part of the Jigsaw Industrial Complex.
I think of it as a Jigsaw family, but yes, either way.
Well, in our t-shirt shop, we do have a shirt that's specifically for Sawsgiving. This is Jigsaw has a posse, because he does. He rolls deep. And you kind of wonder why at a certain point. Like, Saw X is the only version of this that we've ever seen that we were like, I get this. This I can get behind. The other ones, I've had increasingly more and more trouble with his philosophy. It doesn't always add up.
No, it rarely does. I think what happened actually, and in terms of him having a posse, is that this movie wanted to give him, they wanted a twist ending like the first movie had. They wanted another like holy shit moment. So their idea was to make one of his victims a secret accomplice, which is like a fun, smart choice. But then once you've done that, you want to keep raising the stakes. You want to keep shocking your audience. You have to kind of keep adding accomplices to pass the point of, you know, we've suspended all disbelief at this point. We have to just kind of keep going. But also, I think because of the whole dying of cancer thing, people had logistical questions about how he was doing any of this while he was, you know, doing chemo at the same time.
He can't stand up. Like it's an issue here.
Right.
But this wanting to outdo yourself is eventually what gets us to Detective Honey Baked Ham and Dr. You know, Stumbles a lot. And you kind of like, wow, this guy is so influential. He must be a great hang. And you never see that part of him. That is the great hang that makes you want to jump on board.
They keep saying, "Oh, well, you know, I started thinking of him like a father." It's like, what?
The father that got you thrown into a used needle pit?
It didn't seem that bad. You know, I feel like every time I watch that scene, I love Needle Pit. My Letterboxd review for this movie is just Baby Shark, but I changed it to Needle Pit. So that was, I just typed some lyrics. I think it's always worse in your head than it really is. She gets like a few sticks with the needles, when in reality, I think it would be much, much worse. Oh, yeah. She seems fine in that.
Well, they only had $4 million to do this. Like I try not to look into the background of this, but this I find genuinely compelling because now we're into like the fifth or sixth version of this. And so just by the fact that we've watched enough of them, I'm sort of starting to understand the lore and the eras of it. And so we're going into the Darren Lynn Bousman era of Saw. Right. And so much of what I think the franchise becomes is very based in Saw 2. It is Saw 2 turning $4 million into nearly $150 million of international box office. That's the kind of multiplier that people will go, whatever that formula is, you stick with that. Don't worry about replicating the first Saw. That only made $103 million. This made more. And I feel like from this moment on, it becomes so much more of a Bousman joint.
Yeah. Well, this is because this was an escalation in every way of the first movie. Not really the budget by that much, but in terms of, like I said, adding accomplices, adding twists, adding retcons, but also going from relatively restrained violence in the first movie to an explosion of violence in this one. You know, this movie started out as basically a ripoff. Like he wrote a ripoff of Saw that they then bought and turned into a Saw movie. I think that they saw how well this did, and then they were like, let's just keep escalating. Yeah. And that's how we get to some of the insane shit that happens down the line.
Yeah. Well, let's just get right into it now that we've established a baseline for everyone's enjoyment of the franchise. Let's start off once again in Sawsville, USA, Canada, the unknown named town that is just riddled with underground layers. We open in what we assume now is yet another underground zoo. I know that we're early in the franchise here, but if I were the police, I just think I might start looking for the Jigsaw Killer anywhere below sea level. Is there an exposed pipe? Get a court order.
I was going to say, are there any shots in this movie outside?
There are some establishing shots. But it's a very interior, practically a one set wonder type of movie, reminiscent of the Dark Castle films of the 90s. I think they're taking that vibe and they're moving it into the naughty oddies and a very green aesthetic.
Oh my God, the green filter on everything. Like Donnie Wahlberg looks like he just got out of a really long car ride and was feeling sick to his stomach.
Really?
I like it. It makes me feel a little bit ill, and I feel like that's the intention. You want to kind of have you want to experience the nausea with the characters, who are also, many of them, dying slowly from some sort of nerve gas. It's the mysterious nerve gas that like kills you in 2 hours, but you're also mostly okay for those 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you just die suddenly.
You get a little pale. We're going to get into all of that. But just before we go any further, we really have to examine our first victim here, Michael, who, according to Billy the Puppet, is a police informant. Now, I can't say that Kill by Kill is the biggest pro-cop podcast in the world, but I am struggling to see exactly why Jigsaw has chosen Michael for this particular little game. It comes across as you've watched other people commit crimes and snitch, so why don't you get off the pot and become a more self-starting criminal? Like, does he deserve to die for informing on criminals? What am I to learn from this? What is Scumity Schoolhouse Rock this shit for me?
Well, as you know, my favorite people who are taught a Saw lesson are a guy who is a workaholic, and a woman who is a victim of domestic violence.
She had it coming, I think, is what we all learned from that one. My favorite, of course, is the couple where the girl was cheating on both of them with the other one, and they get sawed in half. Again, cheating scandals deserve death is what we get to at a certain point here.
You really can't expect too much sort of moral consistency from Jigsaw. I think the problem is the movies sometimes forget that we don't need to be on his side. We don't actually have to kind of believe the bullshit he's spewing. Sometimes they take him very seriously. Police informant, I think it's not entirely clear what the issue is here. He may have helped inform on the people in the house who were basically, framed by Donnie Wahlberg.
Right. But we're also criminals.
They were criminals,
but wrongfully convicted criminals.
Yes. So it's possible that the informant was somehow helping with that. It's not really clear. It doesn't really matter, but it did. I had the same thought of like, did he do anything super wrong that requires him to have to cut a key out of his eye? That seems pretty extreme. It
does. Like the sentiment, I think overall becomes even more confused as it's revealed, as we alluded to here, that this comes to basically we're taking down a dirty cop, but Jigsaw is doing this in a way that sucks up massive police enforcement resources and man hours. So maybe if he wanted them to fight, to arrest more grifters and white collar criminals and violent criminals, he should stop forcing the Sawsville, USA, Canada police to spend all their time reviewing yet another microcassette recorder of fucking evidence. But that's just me.
This also the whole thing is driven pretty much by revenge, because this is all about, one of the people who was framed for possession ended up in prison for it, getting revenge on this cop, and also these other people who were wronged by the cop who now have to suffer for some reason.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's a very machine gun approach to what might be a delicate 22 to the back of the dome solution. But I'm no Jigsaw. I'm not part of the posse. But on the whole, Michael also seems to suck in a variety of reasons, as he doesn't really participate in the game. He just trap waggles. Those people who go up to a golf tee. I don't golf, but you've seen them on social media, and they go up and they waggle and they waggle and they waggle. It's him, but in a giant iron device that's going to crush his face. He's just full of stops and starts. And that's going to become a trend moving forward, as we will primarily be dealing with either bulls in a china shop or zombies completely blitzed on sarin gas, stumbling forward without any consideration for the scenarios they're forced into, which somewhat takes away from the whole fun element that I think the franchise actually gets to. That is sacrificed for what I think is genuine tension building within the house trap. That I think really works, and what everyone's trying to replicate moving forward, including Peitzman. But it is a little bit muddled. It is a little proto. I don't know. A lot of it works, and a lot of it doesn't. And I'm not sure which side of the fence I fall on. I guess it's more closer to Saw X for me than it is to Jigsaw for me.
That's quite a range there. I would say
it is quite a range. To wit, the trap that young Michael finds himself in is a mini Iron Maiden that just works on his skull. And we learn through a very helpful video that all he has to do is cut into his eye to retrieve the key in less than 60 seconds. Now, where the key seems to be inserted is below his eye because there's no damage to his actual eyeball. But he seems to interpret this information as, I have to cut into my eyeball to get to this.
I find this very unclear. I gotta be honest. I'm also was like, his eye doesn't look like it's in great shape. Like it's back where it belongs, but is it functional? Like, I'm not saying I'd want to cut into my eye regardless, but it kind of seems like that eye is done for.
Yeah, I think he's gonna, there's gonna be tetanus or something in there. Like he's losing that eye either way.
No, he's definitely got tetanus. That is a given. Every single person you see on camera has tetanus.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hardworking moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Ulta Beauty.
Holiday doorbuster deals are on at Lowe's. Today only, get select 1-quart poinsettias and select translucent plant saucers for $1 each. That means for a limited time, you can decorate to get in the Christmas spirit for less. Shop in-store to make sure you don't miss out on big savings all day. But hurry, these offers won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 11/28, in-store only, limit 16 per person. Selection varies by location, while supplies last.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Sustain Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Sustain Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
I also think that sometimes Jigsaw could benefit from giving them a little more time. I understand that like it's an urgency thing and 60 seconds, but give him like 5 minutes. And that's actually a pretty agonizing 5 minutes of trying to figure out if you can bring yourself to do this. Yeah. He might have done a little cutting and then pulled away. There's a lot that could happen in 5 minutes. 1 minute, I might just wait it out also and take my chances with the Iron Maiden on my face.
And he pretty much just goes, I hate to constantly evoke Friday the 13th here, but there was this thing that we sort of came across as a theme in the Friday films. And that was, it's been a good run. You're just confronted with a killer and you're just like, I could try to fight back, but you know what? It's been a good run. Fade to white.
I'm just going to cry and slump down this wall.
And he just doesn't want to go for it.
Yeah, I often think about this, though, with saw traps and what I would do. And a lot of times the kind of self-mutilation required to survive one, I'm like thinking about long-term damage. I'm thinking about, health complications. I'm wondering if I really care enough to try to deal with all of that mess. Yeah. Or if I just take the easy way out. There's one, I think it might be in Saw, is it 3D, the final chapter, where I don't know if you've covered that one. But there's something with a fish hook that's like needs to be pulled up through your throat.
Right.
And I'm always like, you know what? That's not, if I survive this, that's not going to be a good life.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really unpleasant situation. So I might just, wait this one out.
I think that's entirely understandable. But Michael's 60 seconds are, of course, interrupted by an interminable series of crosscuts. And then he's dead. So there you go. Title splash. And I think it's hard. It's hard to think of a world where you're still able to smoke inside of a building, regardless of how many thieving children you have to pick up from security. But we are introduced to Detective Eric Matthews smoking inside while retrieving his child from a faux Staples, I guess. Get used to this interior, because the interior of this location will be used for the faux Staples, for the police station, for a doctor's office. It's just repeated. It's the same furniture. It's the same paint. I assume that either that's all that's available in Sawsville, USA, Canada, or they use the same location. It's not original for a Saw movie to just repeat the same joints, as Saw 6 in particular, as we noted, was just filled with the same location over and over and over again, including the one in which he shows up with a backwards baseball cap.
Well, that's how you keep the budget low.
Yeah. I also think that it's funny whenever these movies, like you end up at an old location, like in this movie, we end up, in the bathroom from the first movie. And it's never surprising because you're like, I assume that we're just in one giant building going from room to room here. Like, I don't think that we're actually traveling very far ever in the entire series.
No, we're always in the underground zoo. It's just no matter where you go, the underground zoo is ever present. As I mentioned, this is Detective Eric Matthews, played by one Donenthal Wahlberg. And this cop is special because his suits are 11 sizes too big for him. Every time he enters the screen, you should hear the bass line to Once in a Lifetime play. Who shot? It's Donnie Wahlberg. He's not that big a guy.
Yeah, he honestly makes Columbo look like really pulled together. He's just like he just looks like he's always just falling down a flight of stairs.
We just covered Angel Heart on Patreon, and the entire time I'm like, I thought Angel Heart was rumpled. This guy is rumpled times 3, and it's 2005. He looks like they just got a box labeled Fat Albert's funeral clothes. And he's like, this makes sense to be a cop in.
Again, we're talking about budget constraints here. Those were hand-me-downs. Those were from a much larger cop. That's what they could afford. So that's what they used.
Hand-me-down detective suits. I love this lore. Okay. So he is pissed off at his teen son, Daniel, who was just nabbed for stealing from the local Sawsville, USA, Canada's Best Buy clone. One assumes he was swiping Sum 41 or Linkin Park CDs. Just like, you expect me to pay nearly $20 for chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water? Fuck you. Stuffs it into his pants. And he was so shitty at this, the cop's son, that he got nabbed by security. And so we catch them on a seaside walk back to their car, because I guess Daniel took the ferry to the place he shoplifted from. Great plan, Daniel. And so father and son start to verbally spar. Only Wahlberg has memorized, I'd say, like a third of his lines, because Wahlberg's acting style for this scene and for the rest of the movie involves 2 modes: screaming or mumbling under his breath. There is no middle ground. And neither approach is, in my opinion, the right stuff, baby.
You were just waiting for the opportunity to do that, weren't you? You were like rubbing your hands together in gleeful anticipation.
Yes.
I mentioned to someone last night that I was watching this. I said, if I took a drink for every time Donnie Wahlberg yells, "What do you want?" I'd be dead on the floor within the first half an hour.
No one ever tells them what they want, is the other thing. At a certain point, wouldn't you get tired of asking that question? We're fed a little information here. Obviously, their relationship isn't great, but surprise, surprise, this cop is getting a divorce and has a shitty relationship with his child. Well, if you need to take a knee to ingest that info, please, now is the time.
I really do like, though, that this all feels, it's only Saw 2, but it already feels sort of like tropey and copying the first movie. And when you remember this was all designed as a ripoff of Saw, it's kind of brilliant. I mean, they really didn't put a lot of effort into making it seem very different from the first movie or any of the subsequent films. They're all kind of the same.
Well, I did learn, right, that Peitzman had that desperate script, which is pretty much what happens inside the house. And then Whannell comes back to do a rewrite of his to weave Sawville into the script. So there's a lot of melding of worlds here where Whannell is trying to graft Saw onto the desperate. And as a result, you have two competing movies that are happening. But weirdly enough, that becomes the formula from here on out, whereas the first one is an interwoven mystery. This one is much more of a gore procedural. And then you have the Kaiser Soze twist at the end every single time. And I feel like they learn more from 2 than they really do from 1 because it is such a hybrid of ideas.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of the worst instincts, though, of these movies were established in the first movie, which gave us things like the fucked up chronology that is, deliberately designed to confuse the audience.
Yeah,
you never really know when anything's happening.
The time slipping.
That is a Saw 1 thing that ended up in all of the movies just getting worse and worse along the way.
Sure. Worse and worse along the way. You're singing my song, baby. Love to hear it. Except I don't know that, like, for example, I don't think A Nightmare on Elm Street ever comes to a Saw X where all of a sudden they're like, this formula, but now we're going to make you care. And all of a sudden it becomes a good movie. That's where I was like, wow, I found a Saw movie I appreciate. And I'm so blown away about it. I can't shut up. Anyways, we have Matthews, his son Daniel. Daniel decides I'm going to go back and be at mom's house. And so I do hope that Daniel says hi to his mother for me. Anyways, it's time to take my foot off the hate gaze here. I don't mind Peitzman's flashier scene transitions. There's a segment here in which Donnie Wahlberg walks from one scene into another. And I'm like, okay, I love how this saves me from having to discern the location of any given scene. I'm not getting a lot of B-roll to explain what the establishing shot is here. But that being said, when the movie decides to give you an establishing shot, holy shit, CSI Miami employed fewer flourishes. It is crazy town.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is something that obviously of its time, but still dialed up to a level that we never saw in any other franchise. Yeah. It really does hurt your head a little bit. I think it is designed to feel disorienting. I think that they want us to feel as if we're in a Saw trap. Mm-hmm. So there should be some pain without pleasure, of watching Saw. We should also feel discomfort.
Right.
But it's really wild. It just feels like even for a music video would be a bit much.
Yeah.
And this is not a music video. It's in fact a full-length feature film.
No, but it should have more butt rock. I don't know why they saved the butt rock for the very end. Just weave that in throughout. I'll accept it. I'm a big, The Rage Carrie 2 fan. I want more butt rock infused. But it is during this next scene that we meet Detective Allison Carey, played by Dina Myers, and her incredible fucking hair. Was she in Saw 1? I don't remember.
She is in Saw 1, yes. Okay. She's sort of just in the background. It's just like, if you're a Starship Troopers fan, you clock it, but she's not doing anything.
Okay. Because for me in Saw 1, it's been a while. I'm sorry. I looked up a lot of 2000s music for this episode.
I was going to say, it sounds kind of like you're developing a compulsive disorder now.
It is a compulsive disorder. It's called the Kill by Kill podcast, and I've been doing it for too fucking long. Again, we hear that Sawsville, USA, Canada has entire sections of underground that are abandoned. They are endless hallways and basically open murder caverns. And if you keep finding Jigsaw victims in these locations, why aren't you just sweeping and sealing them off? Like anywhere that has vast pipe and bloodshed mines, shut it down, baby. What is the toxic sludge and steam pipe lobby in this burg?
Just pour cement down every open pipe you see.
Forget it, Jake. It's HVAC town. We don't have access to those corridors anymore. This murder is taking too many of our citizens.
Maybe Saw 11 will deal with the infrastructure problems
fingers crossed.
Of this universe. Because I do also have questions.
Everyone should have questions. In Carrie and Matthew's bickering, we learned that Wahlberg has basically benched himself from active duty during his divorce proceedings, which has been a boon to the city's police misconduct budget, as it has kept him from pounding people across the face with phone books, I guess. I don't know. They're really saving up for the cops from 4 and Spiral, just amongst the ones we've watched. Not to mention the fact that Detective Honeybaked Ham is out there at this exact moment doing this shit too. So
yes, he's the one who sets up this house.
Yes. Oh my God. He really is the one who sets up this house?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
well, I think it is. This is based on my deep dives into the Saw wiki. It is implied that he is the one who set up the house. He put the needles in that pit. So we don't see that, but that's what he would have had to, basically.
It's a wiki implication. So this is interesting because early in this podcast, when we're just doing Friday the 13th, we found in the Friday wiki that people were putting into there that anyone who died at the same time as like the person they were having sex with, they were buried together, according to the wiki. And then when we started talking about it, it disappeared. The owner of the Friday the 13th wiki is like, oh shit, what did somebody say?
It's like, wow, you're right. That sounds really stupid.
That sounds the stupid. We have to edit. And
I think this I have a little more faith in because it was sort of based on who would have been able to do this, given that, the other person involved was kind of like, she had a different role in all of this as a fake victim.
Right.
And that, at this point, John Kramer is pretty ill. Yeah, so right. He's not carrying needles around. The wiki did say one thing, which was like, the needles could have come from Carrie Elwes, like somehow, right. But it's like that was just pure, fan speculation.
Sure, it makes sense to employ Dr. Hobbles a lot, but that's many, many movies from now. So what can we possibly draw? Now, is there a specific Saw aesthetic that compels actors to try and talk without opening their mouths more than a millimeter? Is that just its location in between two nation states? Is that why that happens?
Well, you could see like everything just looks like, infected. There's just a green cast on everything. I would not want to open my mouth very wide either.
Yeah, we're assuming a filter was placed on this, but they could just be looking at that color air in front of them.
Right. Where everything is held up by either rusty metal or black molds. There's nothing else. There's no other adhesive or binding agent in this town.
The black mold is kind of the sarin gas, it's a longer term, but eventually it will get you.
Yeah. And Wahlberg in their squabbling scene is smoking like it's a pro sport, like just slamming the lighter on the desk, complaining about divorce lawyers. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not about choosing sides in a divorce, but I am absolutely on the wife's side of this divorce.
Yeah, he's not giving off any sort of impression of being the wronged party in this divorce.
I don't know who this woman is, but she made the right choice lately. I love it when Saw movies show you things that you saw 3 minutes ago. Yep. So in the next scene, we see Donnie Wahlberg wake up in a cold sweatish, and he's like, I saw something. And then we get to see his thought process, which is, I noticed words on a piece of metal. And you're like, it took you until now? You didn't make note of that at the time? Like, you've got a flip phone. Take a picture or two. Listen, I can't get into this guy's thought process too much because it is actively smoothing wrinkles in my brain that I need to stay wavy. Anyhow, Matthews remembers that the trap has a manufacturer's stamp on it. one of the parts, and it says Wilson Steel. Okay, this is not rocket science. This is a clue. You mount up and you follow that clue. But wait until the establishing shot of Wilson Steel, because as we see the cops and SWAT van drive up, we flash to the sign that says Wilson Steel 8 fucking times in less than 45 seconds. Yes, I counted. I might have missed some based on how you define one individual shot. It's flickering so often.
It's like they needed like vocals on the track going Wilson Steel, Wilson Steel, Wilson Steel.
If there is a single frame of film that captured the image of the Wilson Steel sign that is not used in this movie, I will eat my own dog. Offer not valid in the continental U.S.
Yeah, in the director's cut, you get like 6 more establishing shots of Wilson Steel.
I think that they want to make sure the audience gets it. They really have a low impression of the audience. And what's funny is that this is a movie, this whole series where you can't pay too much attention or you'll start to have some questions.
Right.
So they want you to really focus, but then, doze off a little bit so you don't call out some of the obvious plot holes.
Right. But I will say, as far as clues go, Wilson Steel is not exactly something you need Holmes and Watson on the case for. That's just like, there's a lot of people in that fucking room. Someone should go, hey, part of that weird mini iron face maiden is from Wilson Steel. Let's go ask some questions. Let's see what their tax situation is. Like just something from the comptroller, anything. Anyways, the cops bust in. They start sweeping Wilson Steel. And if you have a sexual kink for hearing SWAT team members yell, go or clear, enjoy your 70 orgasms. It is established that they are all on comms. And yet everyone yells constantly. They just must have the volume down to 1 because why have mics and headphones if all you're going to do is yell? But for a movie that I believe manages to establish some interesting tension later on, this is like the most amateur hour that the movie actually gets. It's just whip pan after whip pan to try and gussy up a lot of guys, a lot of day players in dark blue Dickie pants, flashing fake guns around. And I want to say it again. There are sections of this movie that inspire confidence, and let's just like firmly establish a formula that goes untouched after this. And then there's the Sci-Fi Channel cinematography. I can't believe this pulled in nearly $150 million, but it did. And listen, it may not be for me, but it is. And they certainly commit to it. This is illustrated when 3 SWAT guys enter a staircase surrounded by a metal cage. Now, you're going after a guy named Jigsaw. I would be afraid of any metal surface, but these guys seem undeterred because they have submachine guns. There's some sort of trap underneath the stairs that breaks one cop's leg, and then the metal cage electrocutes to death 2 other cops. And the one with the leg does not seem affected by that electricity, even though he's laying on top of them. It's very confusing. Just keep this one sequence in mind when we get later on and Kramer starts to evoke what his philosophy in life is. Speaking of which, it's everyone's favorite Architect Digest magazine cover boy, John Kramer. And he is found confined to a wheelchair and wearing a robe because when you have mobility issues, the best thing for you is something that really helps you stop getting in and out of that wheelchair easily. Like a robe.
He looks so cozy, though.
It does. Well, you know what? He's cold. He's cold and sweepy, and it's hard. It's hard for John. That we don't doubt. A full-ass robe, that seems like a lot, but I don't know, maybe his bones are chilly. He reveals to Detective Matthews and the rest of the cops that Matthews' son Daniel is amongst several people trapped in an undisclosed location. And if the police cannot find them within 2 hours, they will die from sarin gas slowly introduced into that space. Now, Kramer never says the word sarin. He describes it as gas that is, quote, used in the Tokyo subway attacks. And those occurred in 1995. And
he implies that it's the same gas.
Right.
So it could be a different kind of toxic.
It could be
gas.
Off-brand sarin.
Yeah,
right?
It has similar vibes.
It's sarin generic, right? But you get it for cheaper.
Yeah, I was going to say he got a deal on a generic version of it.
That being said, as someone who lived in Japan on and off a few years later, I can tell you that shit is no fucking joke. And I've had legit nightmares once I learned of its existence and the full breadth of those tanks. It really did a number on my sleep schedule, which was very much fluctuating in my cross-Pacific travels. But also, there's a part of me that just wants them to call it sarin gas because we've got another, Gina, Satine in the Visitor kind of copyright issue here. Like, the more you avoid saying sarin gas, the more it looks like a producer gave you the note that sarin gas is a little litigious, quote unquote.
Like we heard from their lawyers, you can't use their name.
Like, no one wants to incur the wrath of big sarin gas.
Well, I think part of the issue is that if you say sarin gas, people are going to be like, that's not how sarin gas works.
Sure, yeah.
So when you make it like a vague toxic gas, you can just kind of say they sort of cough up blood sometimes and they look tired and pale.
Yes.
But they're not having diarrhea, for example.
Well, that we know of. We don't.
Which is
wait. Louis, are you suggesting that he anticipated like the pedantic horror fan on social media?
Yeah. So as a CinemaSins, person myself, I'm of course watching this and saying, why are none of them shitting? Because sarin gas causes gastrointestinal side effects, and they seem fine.
What this movie needs is loose poop trails so that they know where they've been.
I mean, really, how could it make it look any worse?
You wouldn't even notice. That's the problem.
No.
There's a shit smeared aesthetic to that entire house.
Absolutely.
That's just a nightmare they don't need because they're already living in a very specific nightmare.
Are you scouring the web for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Stop it. Get Rakuten. Rakuten is a shopping sidekick that gets you cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. Right now, you can get up to 15% cash back at the stores you love. You can even stack cash back on top of the biggest sales of the year. That's savings on savings. It's more time shopping and less time searching. With Rakuten, you're always saving at your favorite stores on the things you're already buying. Cashback is automatically added to your account as you shop, and you can get paid with gift cards, PayPal, or check. Or eligible American Express card members can even choose to earn membership rewards points instead of cash back. It's truly a no-brainer. Now's the time to join. Up to 15% cash back ends on 12/2. Plus, new members will receive a welcome bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.com, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's RAKUTEN. Terms and conditions apply.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's Best Eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hardworking moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local CVS.
Holiday doorbuster deals are on at Lowe's. Today only, get select 1-quart poinsettias and select translucent plant saucers for $1 each. That means for a limited time, you can decorate to get in the Christmas spirit for less. Shop in-store to make sure you don't miss out on big savings all day. But hurry, these offers won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 11/28, in-store only, limit 16 per person. Selection varies by location, while supplies last.
But besides Daniel, let's meet the rest of this body count, something we haven't done in a while. First, we meet Addison. She's a pink halter top owner-operator. I assume in an ode to the greatest Let's Go Commando comedy of 2001, Josie and the Pussycats, she's rocking said halter top braless. That's right, Josie and the Pussycats. Nobody wears underwear. It's all just people who left their bra and underwear at home. We also have Xavier, who seemingly is drafted from the Fast and Furious Los Angeles. The actor here is Frankie G and has a uniquely naughty aughts phenomenon in that I can only recount him in this for the last 10 minutes of The Italian Job, where he's introduced as just yet another hot piece of ass in a movie that's rife with him. And then a Fox pilot that totally failed when I worked there. I can't remember the name of the Frankie G pilot, but it was super weird. And I believe at one point they were hunting the serial killer, and the serial killer had trapped them in this house in which toxic bugs fell on people. And the cop yelled, "Get out of here. The bugs are toxic." And I was like, there's no way this is going to series.
That just sounds like what they're doing now with the 911 show with Angela Bassett. Hey, just like, well, now there's toxic bugs.
We cannot make fun of 911. They are one of the few shows that still use our services for promo. So yes, 911 is the greatest show that has ever been. And if you want to watch an even better show, 911 Nashville is out right now. It's like 911, only they're all sleeping together. And
I thought you were going to say, except it's like 911.
Well, there's more country music stars involved.
There is. 911 Nashville has Leanne Rimes as a scheming country star who is trying to blackmail to get surgery for her vocal polyps to be removed. So that's an advantage.
That's the plot.
Of Nashville. But
that is the plot. I've been sitting on this since July when I read that script. I'm so happy to see that the world knows this is the plot of 911 Nashville.
911 proper, though, I will say, is such an exciting series that the first episode has, of course, Angela Bassett at the end going to space, or she's going to be going to space.
Yes. Yeah.
And so much happens that you don't even talk about the fact that Mark Consuelos is swallowed by a whale earlier in the episode.
They just grab Whale Falls plot and like, we can use this for half an hour. And they just do it. That's what they do over there.
Brilliant show.
Kind of love it. As a kid who grew up on reruns of Emergency 51 and they had like a plot of $5, they would have maybe one fire a season. It's weird for firefighters. And so that's kind of like Emergency 51 on steroids. So I kind of enjoy the audacity of it for that. But of course, it does not have Mantooth in it. The 911 needs more Richard Mantooth. Anyways, what are we talking about again? Oh, Saw 2. Also on the body count is Laura, played by Seventh Heaven alum and constant Christmas movie actress Beverly Mitchell. Does she spend the entire movie sweating buckets in a coat with an hourglass lapel? You better believe it, baby. Also here is Jonas, played by the hardest working man in showbiz, Glenn Plummer. God love him. Glenn Plummer is trying in every fucking scene he's in. He is this shit is Shakespeare to him, and he is trying.
I think I think he's really bringing something special. And so is Beverly Mitchell, even though her character is not cut out for this.
Yes. She's just, unfortunately, she's been given the role of a fainting flower who just is the first person to go in the most, just the kindest way possible in a Saw movie. She just fades away.
I did kind of wonder if she had some pre-existing condition that made her more susceptible to the gas, because she just doesn't take it as well as the others do.
Yeah. Some people it barely seems to affect. I don't think Amanda's affected by it all. I think she has the antidote in her because she never really gets that sweaty or weird looking, and everyone else is on the edge of auditioning for Twilight.
Sure.
And then there's a character named Gus who we learned spent 3 years in college, much of it blackout drunk. Make that math work. And then we don't know who else this person is. Who cares? He's about to die in one of the most improbable ways in the entire franchise in mere seconds from now. And then there's Obi, who's wearing a hood.
I believe it's actually pronounced Abi.
Abi.
Which it makes that neither makes sense.
Sure.
But Abi particularly bothered me, given that it's spelled like Obi-Wan.
Right.
But
and he's wearing a hood.
Abi. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, no, I'm not a Star Wars guy. No, I'm not a ghost because people can talk to me and you can't see through me. And like, all right, fine. Who are you? Why? We'll barely learn anything about him. And as we mentioned before, returning here, it's Amanda who finds the mini cassette player to inform everyone as to this escape room version of of a Jigsaw trap. And then is also very pot committed to the bad wig thing because what is the concept of this haircut? This does not. Shawnee Smith is an attractive woman. This is not helping. And she is pot committed to this fucking thing for multiple movies.
It's actually shocking. It is truly shocking. It's like the cut itself, and then it looks like she was sleeping on it, weird, because there are little bits of it kind of sticking up in different places.
Yes.
That is in and of itself a torture device. I think that that's part of her test to Jigsaw is like, will she wear this haircut?
Yeah, it's Kate and John plus 8 steel traps. Her haircut. Now, Gus is the first person to go here in the house scenario. And this happens when they find a key and they're told specifically not to use the key in the big steel door that's in front of them. And of course, in Frankie G's bull in a china shop manner, he's like, fuck that piece of advice from the serial killer. I'm totally doing that. And then when he turns the key, it fires a gun through a keyhole, which Frankie G's character is not looking through, but Gus is. How would this harm the person who used the key? Why would a second person look through the keyhole at that exact moment? How does this trap work?
Well, I think what you have to remember is that John Kramer is always thinking 20 steps ahead.
Sure.
So he's imagining this exact scenario, and it worked perfectly.
There's a lot of things that demonstrate that Kramer is thinking 20 steps ahead. One is that he has just oil tankers filled with knockout juice. 2, he has the deeds to the grossest homes in town well in advance. 3, he's a home welder and he knows how to use it. This particular trap is inexplicable as to how it would actually kill the person who used the key, which would be the point of warning them not to use the fucking key.
But also, what is it? There's no real like moral test here or anything, right? It's just kind of like, can you follow simple instructions?
Yes,
right. It's like remember like when we were kids and your teacher would give you like a piece of paper and it would tell you like put your name here, and if you put it in the wrong place, you failed the test and you weren't following the directions correctly.
Yes,
that's what this is. It's like, well, how stupid are these people? Oh, that's stupid. Okay,
but they're made stupid by the second because they're being gassed the entire time.
Yeah, I actually think this is part of. I love this movie, by the way. This is my second favorite Saw movie, maybe third, but it's up there.
Understandable. I think it's one of the better ones.
However, I think that you can tell this was a script that was not for a Saw movie because these traps are not really Jigsaw traps.
Right.
Yes. I'm sure that they revise them in some way, but it's like usually a Jigsaw trap, there's like a sacrifice to be made in terms of you to yourself or to someone else, or they have to make one for you. Uh-huh. These are mostly kind of booby traps that are just like, shitty things that can happen to you along the way.
It's only the first one seems like a traditional Jigsaw trap.
Yes. That's why I know it's an add-on, from 1L, because the rest of these are one-way trips. You're not meant to get out of them. Some of them don't have any way to get out of them. And then one of them provides you a way to get into it without participating in the trap at all. But everyone's so fucking blitzed by the time we get there, they don't even think to look at it. Anyways, the whole process of looking for clues as they do for the next 10 minutes is, oh my God, TikTok transition tutorials have fewer cuts per minute than what's going on here. Eventually, the big door opens and the Xavier character finds a bat. And if I've learned anything from Hobo with a Shotgun, it's that when life gives you razor blades, you make a baseball bat covered in razor blades, except this one has nails through it, but basically the same thing. Keep that in mind because later on that's going to come into vogue. Abi, it turns out, is part of the muscle that got some of these people inside the house. He was not forced to wear a pig mask, however. So he's not that deep into Jigsaw's posse. Maybe
he was asked nicely and didn't wear it, and that's why he's in the house.
That's right.
Maybe he didn't follow the instruction to wear the pig mask, and that's why he's in trouble.
Which gets him in trouble because one of the people, Addison is like, or maybe it's Beverly, I can't remember. One of them says, "I remember you're the person who kidnapped me." He's like, "Yeah, so what of it? What are you going to do?" It was a job opportunity.
A fair question. I mean, what are your options here?
Not much, but he's one of the few people to gain access to John Kramer's endless vat of knockout juice. And my favorite part of this sort of character discovery scene is that at one point, Abi knocks over a large metal jug and the characters react as if a gun went off. It's just like, he knocks something over, it clangs on the floor and everyone's like, okay. Calm down, everyone. You're really getting gassed up here. Abi is tasked with entering a cremation oven to retrieve 2 needles worth of antidote. But when he grabs the second needle, the door shuts from behind and the gas burners turn on. And what the fuck am I? Again, this is the one-way ticket problem.
Yeah.
Should he not have tried for the second needle?
This is when I got into the wiki. Because I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
How does this work as a test?
What is
the point here? It's super unclear. It was written in a way that suggested they were trying to kind of, fan wink an explanation as to how we ended up here, what this all means and what you could have done. I believe he had the means to turn the gas off, but he would have had to reach through the fire. So I guess that's the sacrifice of like, will you burn yourself to not be burned to death? Which feels like kind of sure. I mean, that's kind of a no brainer. He doesn't do it though. He just kind of burns to death. It's not a good trap. I mean, it's a good trap if you want to kill someone. It's not a good lesson to teach.
Right.
You said something, Louis, that has been my main problem with the Saw series in general is did I miss something?
Sure.
Where I just feel like and I realize part of that is we have been watching these out of sequence.
Yeah,
fine.
sure, yeah.
But even within the same movie, I'm like, I missed like about 10 minutes here because like this is not like coming together for me. Yeah. And I think that's my main, maybe it's deliberately disorienting. I don't know, but I always constantly feel like I have to reference the Wikipedia page for the movie or the wiki or anything like that.
I think it's usually not great writing and bad editing are the explanation for that. But I always feel a little bit silly when I'm like, did I miss something? And yet there's like a flashback to things that just happened constantly. Yeah. So I shouldn't miss anything really. But no, I think there's some holes here that are tough.
You heard it here first. There's a Saw movie with some plot holes in it. I don't know. This really throws things into disarray for me over the course of this many volumes. But what are you going to do? This is where we learn a bit more of John Kramer's origin story. We learned that Kramer is diagnosed with terminal cancer in the same place that the faux Staples was and where the police station is. We learned that his doctor is Dr. Lawrence Gordon. Hey, I know horror movie directors too. Okay, movie. And then we really... during the sequence where he's yakking with Matthews, we get a lot of sweeping shots of the rest of the Wilson steel layer. And I guess my question to both of you is, why does this man need so many mannequins?
I mean, I think that you can maybe imagine they're for testing various things, but also you'd probably want a more realistic kind of dummy than a mannequin, which is not going to respond to things the way that like human flesh would.
Right. I just don't think like that steel fly trap thing that they developed. Like if you put them on one of these flimsy ass Forever 21 mannequins, that shit's just going to fall over. To me, it just doesn't seem like an architect's mindset to just use any old mannequin.
Yeah, he may also, though, need a way to store all his robes.
True.
Which he could keep on the various mannequins.
You know what? When you're right, Louis. You're right. That being said, some killers have murder diaries, and we've talked about them on the show endlessly, but John has murder blueprints. And you would think at this point in the century that he would be using CAD or something, but then you just don't get all this wonderfully hokey set design.
No, he's old fashioned. He's old school.
Old school with his murder.
I really hope that if there is another Saw movie, and I'm sure there will be
eventually,
that he's going to punish somebody for using AI, and every writer and artist in the audience will just be like, yes.
I guess that would require that John Kramer like faked his own death and is actually alive, which I'm shocked we haven't gotten to yet. But,
I mean, it's coming. It's coming. I mean, also, he seems to have recorded endless video, thousands of hours of videotape and micro cassettes of himself.
Eventually, he would get to driverless robo-taxis. He would just run out of material on everything else.
That's fair, yeah.
And it is during this conversation that Kramer reveals a whole bunch of stuff that we'll get to. But there's just one Wowzers segment here where Kramer says, "I've never murdered anybody. 3 minutes ago, you killed 3 police officers. So are you fucking kidding me?"
I think one of them was just badly maimed. I think
that's true. One of them comes out alive.
He's fine.
But 2 of them are fried beyond recognition.
You hear that guy screaming in the background for like the rest of the scene. So he's okay.
That's right. So 1 out of 3 survived. But this did sort of remind me of the whole Freddy Krueger phenomenon, Gina, of world's worst self-help book author territory that we're verging into, where everything is about helping someone solve a problem by killing them. Except, at least with Freddy, you briefly became a cockroach or you fight an invisible man in a sensual dojo. And here, it's just like this impossible fucking thing to do. And like 1 out of 12 makes it out alive.
I find it very annoying that people in this series talk about Jigsaw as if he's never killed anyone.
Right.
He's not a serial killer technically because he actually doesn't kill people. And it's like, that's not how things work.
No,
that is not a defense in court of like,
well, yeah, it's like people who try to say like, oh, well, Charles Manson didn't kill anybody himself. It's like, no, but he sent people to kill on his behalf.
Yeah, right. He gave the orders to murder.
Or in this case, you created an oven in which someone could burn to death, and then put a trigger in the oven, and then told them to go inside and pull the trigger. Yeah. But I guess he didn't technically turn it on himself. Not going to keep him out of prison.
Really, it's not. He's going down regardless. But he lives with a freedom of, having this terminal cancer diagnosis. So he's freer than all of us. Whatever. Anyways, if you missed any portion of this conversation that Kramer has with Matthews, don't worry. Every single sentence of the scene will be re-released to you in a "he was Kaiser Soze all along" edit. And we will reveal that Daniel will be, quote, safe and sound inside a safe mere feet from where this interaction takes place. But of course, Matthews is too stupid, hopped up on adrenaline, angry to actually listen to this. And also, who would fucking interpret it as that? I don't know. This is where you do need a Holmes and Watson for this kind of fucking clue.
Yeah, if you can call it a clue. I mean, I guess it is technically, by definition, it is a clue, but I don't know how it would lead anyone there. I like, you talked a little bit about the sort of the tension of the whole house sequence and the ticking clock and all of that.
Yeah.
This movie does what I think most Saw movies do and reveals that like this all happened already. So it's actually all fake tension because there's, this is all in the past. Which is a fun reveal, but also kind of undermines what we've been going for the rest of the movie.
That is absolutely true. Here's where, God help me, I'm going to defend Saw 2. What I think that the in-house sequences have that I find lacking in some of the other Saw films is internal tension within those characters. That there is a secret, that they have connections, that it's slowly revealed, that there is an antagonist in their midst who, despite everything, refuses to actually help and actually hinders their pursuit of solutions. And that I find actually has tension and weight to it. Whereas sometimes you have a lot of these where it's just one person wandering from murder room to murder room being unsuccessful. This has a dynamic that I think I wish I saw more of in the Saw franchise.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the best of the Saw movies have people working together with some sort of unknown connection, which I think happens again in, gosh, is it 4 or 5? I can never remember which one's which. It might be the 5th one. I know the 6th one is the health insurance one.
That's the health insurance one. We've covered the health insurance one. We started with 4, which really the main thing I remember from 4 is it teaches you the lesson that if you're a cop, don't kick in doors.
Yes,
B,
that's right.
If you're trapped in confinement, make friends with a rat. That's very important. And 3, we get to see John Kramer's taint. Those are the big reveals.
Saw 5 does have a similar, we all woke up together. How are we connected? Can we survive this together? Plot line, which I think is definitely the strongest conceit in the series, which they come back to a couple times.
I might find out about it, but I make no guarantees. One of these movies might murder me. I'm not entirely sure.
Are you scouring the web for the best Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals? Stop it. Get Rakuten. Rakuten is a shopping sidekick that gets you cash back on gifts for everyone on your list. Right now, you can get up to 15% cash back at the stores you love. You can even stack cash back on top of the biggest sales of the year. That's savings on savings. It's more time shopping and less time searching. With Rakuten, you're always saving at your favorite stores on the things you're already buying. Cashback is automatically added to your account as you shop, and you can get paid with gift cards, PayPal, or check. Or eligible American Express card members can even choose to earn membership rewards points instead of cashback. It's truly a no-brainer. Now's the time to join. Up to 15% cashback ends on 12/2. Plus, new members will receive a welcome bonus after minimum qualifying purchases. Just go to Rakuten.com, download the app, or install the browser extension. That's Rakuten. Terms and conditions apply.
Always so fresh, delicious, and nutritious, Eggland's Best Eggs fuel the body with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hard-working moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Target.
Holiday doorbuster deals are on at Lowe's. Today only, get select 1-quart poinsettias and select translucent plant saucers for $1 each. That means for a limited time, you can decorate to get in the Christmas spirit for less. Shop in-store to make sure you don't miss out on big savings all day. But hurry, these offers won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 11/28, in-store only, limit 16 per person. Selection varies by location, while supplies last.
But they do eventually find themselves in an upstairs portion of the house in which Xavier finds an envelope with a microcassette for him that reveals that he is a drug dealer and that they find a clue to open a steel door. They have to locate it in a pit of used hypodermic needles. So Xavier really thinks on his feet here and just picks Amanda up and throws her into the pit. It is genuinely harrowing in terms of ideas. I think this is nightmare inducing. And
just throws her like a sack of potatoes.
Just like, fucking find it. She just picks her up and deposits her down, not even carefully, just like, fuck you down in there. And it takes her a while to recover from that. Again, Xavier, not smart. She does find the wherewithal to actually find that clue, hand it to him, and this motherfucker can't even get a key in a goddamn door.
Yeah.
At that point, I would take several of those hypodermic needles and sink them into his fucking foot.
Well, I first, this is another one of those challenges that Jigsaw has presented that doesn't make a lot of sense. In that, like, I don't really know what it's a horrible, you could find it in a horrible escape room situation, but in terms of like a test of someone, I don't quite get it. Not enough time to find the key though. No, I will. It's simply not enough time. It's a real needle in a haystack. They make that comparison, but you know, a key in a pile of needles just seems super unlikely that she would be able to find it. But also when she's kind of rummaging through needles, there should be way more needles in her hands. Right, she should really be going through it. She seems fine when she's in there. Yeah. It's a lot of aggressive grunting in there. Like Shawnee Smith is trying. What I really appreciated about this movie, I think overall, is a lot of the cast, especially the desperate group, are trying to make this drama happen. I think the end result is it works more for me in terms of a character dynamic, and I appreciate that. Through sheer force of will, she finds, and of course, fuckface can't put a key in a lock, and they're back to square one. Kramer reveals that Matthew has arrested everyone inside the house trap, and he's planted evidence to get those convictions for each and every one. And this is less of a wow moment simply because after seeing 4 and 6 over the course of the series, they kind of follow the same fucking game plan. They're all related to one another, but that's what we get for going out of order. That's a me problem, not a Saw problem. Early on, one of the microcassettes that the group gets tells them that the numbers they'll need to open the safe are in the back, quote, back of your mind. But it turns out that it's actually written on the back of their neck. And I'm sorry, I don't associate the back of one's neck with the back of my mind. The neck does not contain a fucking mind. Checkmate, Kramer.
That wasn't a well thought out clue.
No, it's no safe and sound. That I like it or not, that works. This fucking doesn't.
I guess there's brainstem, right? So that goes down a little lower. Where they're looking at the neck, that's where who knows? I didn't come to Saw for realism. What am I talking about? I'm just trying to make an excuse for him. It's not great. He could have thought that through more.
Stop making excuses for serial killer John Kramer. Anyways, Xavier and Jonas get into a very well-acted monologue and fight, but Xavier ends up sinking that nail-covered bat into the back of Jonas's head, which is where he discovers that number is in the back of it, and he goes about then to collect the rest of them. So we go on. Laura finds an X that is talked about earlier that Kramer said on the tape, and she locates a clue that they are all connected to Detective Matthews and that Daniel is Detective Matthews' son. But this is somewhat muted by the fact that Laura dies from sarin gas intake. She just crumples on the floor and says bye-bye.
I really love that when Jigsaw gives this reveal of the photo of them together, he also writes father and son on it in case you had any
so you can
confusion
get it
over what's going on here.
Whatever.
It's really,
It's just a white piece of paper that says father and son. Hold on. There's a back to it. Oh, okay. All right. We got it. Later, they start to fracture and split up. No one can trust anymore in this house full of sarin gas. So Addison finds herself in what appears to be yet another one-way saw trap, except when you look at it full frame, and it kind of took the second viewing for me to see this, it's a clear box that has one of the hypodermic needles with the cure in it. And you can either reach into it through these massive razor blades, or you can go around to the back of the see-through box and there's a lock with a key inside of it. But she's so fucking zonked out that's not even fucking fair. she is the Walking Dead at this point. And he's like, maybe you should look for the lock and key as opposed to just reaching up through this obvious hole and grabbing it. And then when she does, the bottom of the fucking syringe is super glued to the fucking box and it spills everywhere. This is all for naught. And it makes me very angry.
It's, but also when, you know, not to get ahead, but when she wants help to get out of it and it's like, oh, she's being cruelly left there. I don't know how you would help someone out of that situation.
I'll tell you.
Oh, if you have an idea. All right.
You put your fingers up to the sides of her wrist and push up the blades, and then she can retract her hands through it.
I see. Okay. So
I'm telling you, this is not fucking rocket science. That being said, there's no way Xavier is going to help her out of that trap. No. And it is debatable whether or not any of them have any working brains left to actually do that. But if you were working with it as a team in that situation, you could fucking amazing race your way out of it. Working together.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched The Amazing Race. Do they trap people and saw traps now? I assume so, yes.
Yeah, definitely with the razor blades. I guess that is a theme of Saw that you often, working together is usually the way.
Yeah.
That he kind of creates situations where you would be very suspicious of each other, but if you can get past that and work together, you can like mutilate yourselves less or
Louis,
get out of these traps.
Louis, I think you solved the Saw franchise. If Jigsaw has a posse, what he wants everyone else to do is have a posse and work together. And that's called socialism, friends. And that's why we're voting against it.
I was going to say, that's why Jigsaw is our new mayor of
But such a handsome, well-spoken Jigsaw. He really, listen, if he's going to put together a trap, I might be into it. You know what I'm saying? He's very charismatic, Gina.
Very, very much so.
Xavier collects the numbers from all the dead bodies, and then he goes after Amanda and Daniel, the only two numbers he has left. But these two use that key that they found in the first 15 fucking minutes, and they find a door in the floor, and that takes that same fucking key. Xavier's trying to push his way through an iron door. They lodge it with the bat with the nails in it. It's a lot of setup, but it works. They push the safe aside. They use the key to get down. And now we get to see cut after cut after cut of these two running the same fucking hallway for 5 minutes. These are 4 sets linked together in a fucking circle. And they treat it like they are running through the entire town.
And also at this point, they would be really in a bad way with the gas.
Yes.
I know that Amanda probably is not actually, she did whatever. She took the antidote, the mysterious antidote. But someone very recently just dropped dead from the gas and they're coughing up blood. There has to be like organ failure happening.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. They're melting on the inside.
So I just don't quite understand how they're this, I guess maybe it's adrenaline keeping them, running down there.
Sure.
But you'd think that they would be, falling over.
One would think. But also that run could just be, the one hallway over and over again until they find the bathroom from Saw 1. It is there that Xavier reveals that the numbers are in the back of everyone's neck. So he needs their numbers. And of course, they're not about to turn their backs on him because he's been an active murderer throughout this and has a knife. And then, Amanda asks a question that I think is pretty rational. There's a number on the back of your neck, dipshit. How you going to get it without us? And he's like, hold my beer. I'm going to perfectly cut off a flap of my neck meat.
Just dig on in there.
And he manages to get it. How does he know the exact location of his of the part of his neck that contains the fucking number? This is skillful. If you have the ability to do this.
He does, to be fair, cut off a large chunk of neck. So he definitely took more than he needed there.
Sure.
He also puts it in his pocket after, which I really like.
Well, you keep that for later in a sterile place. And as we all know, one's jeans pocket is a perfectly sterile place for your neck meat so they can sew that back on. Now, while this is happening, supposedly, at least in how the movie's laid out, Matthews decides, I can't wait any longer. I have to go full the Shield on Kramer. Just start snapping fingers and punching him a bunch. And Kramer goes, all right. I've had enough. I'll take you to the house. Just hit that button on the wall. And it turns out that Kramer's little office was actually an elevator. And the SWAT guys look at this like, well, there's no way we're going to catch that freight elevator. Hold on a second. It's a 2-story fucking freight elevator. Why can't you catch up to that shit? It's one level down and make a left. But hey, not come to Saw 2 for realism. Anyways, Kramer says, I'll take you to this house. And their room turns out to be an elevator. And that means that Kramer has more in common with the fucking Phantom of the Opera than we ever thought. He wears a mask. He has underground passageways. He knows the music of the night, I assume. Matthew and Kramer have a head start on the SWAT team, who, of course, cannot make that 1-floor journey down fast enough. And it turns out that John takes Matthews to a completely different location. It is the actual house, but we learn from where the SWAT location is that it's actually playing on a tape, and this happened in history. So this is all for naught. Matthews has been walked into the Saw 1 bathroom where he is drugged, chained by Amanda, who we learn has been in on it from the beginning. And now Matthews has a while to make a best friend forever out of a rat, which is what he does, people.
Yep. He's made the best of his situation. He's bonded with someone.
The SNL skit in which a Wahlberg family member talks to animals happens in the Saw franchise, and it's Donnie, and he makes friends with a fucking rat. That happens. Everyone needs to remember it. Daniel was quote unquote safe this entire time because he was inside the safe with a fucking air mask on. And this all happens, and then quick cut reveals, door slam, cue the butt rock. We made it through Saw 3. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Did you cover, and I somehow was lost in thinking about logistics here, how Xavier is killed?
Oh, that's right. I did flip over the fact that he is hacksawed in the throat by Daniel.
Yeah, I really appreciated the amount of blood in that scene. A ludicrous amount of blood spills from his neck after he is slashed in the throat. So I just wanted to make sure that was touched on.
No, that's an important thing that we just cruised past. Any more deeply emotional connections to Saw 2, though?
I mean, I really think that the reveal of Amanda being in on it at the end is up there with the reveal of the dead body on the floor in the first one being Jigsaw.
Sure.
I think that's an
it brings Shawnee
reveal.
Smith into the franchise. And if you have the opportunity to put Shawnee Smith in your fucking movie, my suggestion is do it. She is a value add. As the international fans of 1988's The Blob remake as we are, we can tell you Shawnee Smith is a add to your motion picture. Just get her a better fucking wig than this, everyone. Just allow her to look nice, for fuck's sakes.
She does have better hair in Saw 3. But she is deeply annoying in Saw 3. So it kind of evens out. It's a better wig, but like also it's like 2 hours of her whining.
Such is the pig mask of the Saw franchise. It giveth and it taketh away. Gina, any last thoughts?
I mean, this seems to be the point where, it was still mostly comprehensible. Right. And then once you get to like 3 or 4, it's like it starts getting like way up its own ass with like lore and backstory and flashbacks and adding all these additional characters and all these like, dual timelines. And it's just like, who could possibly give a shit? So I think that like, if you again, and I say that having genuinely liked Saw X, but I think that, 1 and 2, you're fine. You could stop after that.
But then you would miss out on so much. Frankly, you would miss out on John Kramer's taint, which I think everyone should get a good look at.
I think that I think that Saw it takes a sharp dive in quality and comprehensibility if that's a word, after the second one. But you get some real special moments along the way. Yeah. I mean, I think that after this movie, it's more about what are the fun kills than anything else, because trying to make sense of the plot is a fool's errand.
True. Yes. And, the amount of time you spend with Detective Honeybaked Ham is a time you will never get back. But listen, are there worse ways to spend your time? Of course there are. One of them is to choose your own deathventure, and that is where you decide, of the deaths portrayed in Saw 2, if you were forced to die in any one of those ways, which one of them would you choose and why? Up for bid today, we have your skull mangled and crushed by a head-specific Iron Maiden. You can be electrocuted while you're climbing the stairs. You could get shot through the eye by a door trap somehow. That does qualify as a get bunked. So you're aware, Louis, a get bunked is where you're killed through another object. In this case, a door. You can be partially burned to death. I guess you just succumb to it being really fucking stinky. You can get hit in the back of the head with a bat with nails in it. You can die from sarin gas exposure, or you can have your throat slit by a hacksaw to the throat. And so, Louis, you are our guest, and that means you get to go first.
This seems easy to me.
Okay.
Well, as I was watching this, I was taking notes diligently. I said to myself, Gus got off real easy.
Sure.
Gus gets a single shot through the eye. He dies before he knows what happened. He's fine. He's not even feeling the effects of the gas at that point.
He's barely felt it.
So I think he's in many ways thriving. I know he's dead, but I really feel like he's doing okay. Yeah. So to me, that's the easy answer.
Gina, what say you?
Oh yeah, because I also know, pretty much everything Louis said, but also I remarked that it's really dumb for someone to stick their eye up against a peephole when they're like in a situation they don't understand, they don't know where they are. But I could see myself just doing that and getting shot for it.
I showed my kid Hard Target this week as a John Woo 101, and that movie also has a shot through the keyhole of a door sequence, and his response to that was, what? So listen, if it doesn't make sense in a John Woo movie, it's certainly not going to make sense here, but it does make sense in Choose Your Own Deathventure, because his last thought is, huh? And it's over. He's just out for the rest of the movie, and I think he's in a sweet spot.
He didn't have to spend like an additional hour just like screaming at people until finally dying. Yes.
Although out of all of them, who would I want to see actually thrown into a needle pit? Maybe him? I don't know. The whole I got blackout drunk a lot in college just tells me there are a lot of unprosecuted crimes in your past,
Yes.
That being said, Louis, where can people find what you're working on and listen to what you say?
You can follow me at Louis Peitzman on any social media app, really. Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Letterboxd. I post links to everything that I write on most of those places, not Letterboxd. That's for movie talk. And my podcast, which I co-host with my friend Dane McDonald, is at Chasing Amy Adams all over. Similar, all the same social media platforms.
Excellent. And I've loved your work in the past. And thank you so much for appearing on the show. It was just an absolute thrill to have you on here.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.
Gina, where can people find you on these here internets?
I write about movies and pop culture and current events at my newsletter, GinaWatchesThings.ghost.io, and I am on most social medias under Gina Does
Do it
Things.
today, people. Check it out. We're on your socials, all the good ones, or at least ones that aren't corrupted as much quite yet. You can find us on Patreon for bonus episodes, including commentaries and Chat by Chat, where we answer your questions. And then please rate and review us on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Talk back to us on YouTube or Spotify, that fucking joint. We love to hear from you. We're even on Discord now, and the link is in the show notes. Don't worry, folks. The body count will continue. Sawsgiving's over, but another one is just a year away. For myself, for Gina, and for Louis, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
They're all gonna laugh at
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
The best TV comes in many forms, from real-life mysteries to blockbuster dramas, family favorites, and buzzworthy reality shows. Philo makes it easy to stream them all with one simple, affordable subscription. For just $33 a month, Philo offers more than 70 live channels, including favorites like AMC, A&E, MTV, Discovery, and Nickelodeon, plus on-demand TV like the entire AMC Plus library. Whatever the mood, there's always something new to uncover. Philo subscribers also get access to HBO Max Basic with ads and Discovery Plus at no extra cost, along with unlimited DVR that saves shows for up to a year. No long contracts, no complicated setup, just endless entertainment ready to stream anytime. Ready for a better way to bundle all the TV you love? Get started at philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv. Your next obsession is waiting.